is going on. It's like one of the biggest storylines we have right now. So we heard yesterday, the Miami Herald reported, Anthony Chiang, that trade talks are expected to pick up soon between the Heat and the Portland Trailblazers as training camp approaches in 1 month. However, today, another reporter from the Miami Herald, Barry Jackson, comes out and says that the Blazers have like no interest in discussing a trade and are just like literally avoiding any sort of trade talk, just being basically annoying about it. And for me, the way that I see this playing out is there's two things. Okay, I think he's going to get traded. But what I think the Blazers are trying to do is act stupid and be like, yeah, we're trying our best, but guess what, Dame? There's no trade, so...
Sorry, bud.
Yeah, it sucks to be you, but you're here.
Sorry, dude. You're stuck in Portland. And that's similar to what
Philly think.
That's literally exactly what I think Philly's doing, too. But
Philly's a different conversation. We'll talk about that next. Yeah. But let's hear
with
Jackson
this. It's like Dame doesn't like. I mean, he has leverage because he's fucking Dame, but like, you know, the Blazers, they are not exactly eager to fucking trade him. You know, especially because he made it very clear that he wants to specifically go to fucking Miami. The Blazers don't want that. The Blazers are just doing this to act dumb and try to drive up the price so somebody else not named the Heat will jump in. Maybe a team that tries to get Harden and loses the Harden sweepstakes. Because, like, Dame's going to be more expensive than Harden is on the trade market based on a number of factors. So
I'll talk about this more, but I have said that I want the Toronto Raptors to trade for James Harden like they did for Kawhi Leonard. 1 year rental, baby. 1 year rental.
1 year rental. We'll talk about that when it's Harden. But yeah, that's about it. The Blazers are just trying to jack up the price.
Jackson, what is your thoughts?
I think they've already got a trade ready to go. I think it looks like Jovic, they are severely overvaluing Nikola Jovic. I think the Miami Heat front office is probably dyslexic and they think he might be related to Jokic, and that's why they're holding on to him. And then Jamie, Triple J, which isn't his nickname, and doesn't he not want to be called by that? But I'm gonna call him Triple J. They're not throwing either of them in that package. I'm pretty positive if they did throw either one of those players in the package, Damian Lillard would be on the Miami Heat. So it seems like they could be waiting until December for Orlando Robinson's contract, which is, it's insane. I think it's insane, but yeah, it's wild. And that's like probably a very long probability
I
that that's
think
true.
That this is not a bad trade. You're getting 3 to 5 first-round picks, okay? Straight up unprotected or lightly protected. And then on top of that, pick swaps and second-round picks. Then you're getting yourself either Nikola Jovic and Jaime Jaquez or Jaime Jaquez, one or both. Then you get a buyout in Kyle Lowry, and then you send Tyler Hero somewhere, and you're even getting more assets from the Tyler Hero. So people, like, I don't get why the Portland Trailblazers are acting like this is not a good trade.
Yeah, like, you're not going to
think those guys are in the trade. Has that been officially announced? I don't believe
that's the offer that the Heat have.
Yeah, it's like Tyler Hero's with a third team. Yeah. Everything that I've seen is that Tyler Hero is going to be involved with a third team.
Third team, and those assets go to the Blazers,
like Brooklyn or something. Brooklyn would take Tyler Hero or something. I don't know.
Brooklyn, it's like Cam Thomas and a pick to the Blazers, and then like Royce O'Neal and salary filler to the Heat, or like Ben Simmons and a pick to the Blazers. You know what I mean? Something like that is usually how it's been framed. And then what I said, all those assets from the Miami Heat to the Blazers. Like, this is the same haul that the Utah Jazz got for Donovan Mitchell. Very similar. Maybe a little bit worse, but first off, Donovan Mitchell didn't have a terrible contract. Like, as good as Damian Lillard is, there is no way you can rationalize the last year and maybe even the last 2 years of his contract where he's making $60+ million. You can't rationalize that. Isn't he?
Yeah, especially
70.
It's going to be around 60, like what JB is going to be making in the last few years of his contract.
It's hard to rationalize that.
It's
At
with Jaylen
35,
Brown. With
36.
Jaylen Brown, at least he's like in the prime of his career during the entirety of this Celtics contract, supposedly.
Damian Lillard will be Kyle Lowry at the end of this deal.
Yeah. It's not gonna like age well at all, especially when Dame hits like 37 or 38. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But the Blazers, like, they need to realize that even if they fucking keep this guy on the roster, they're not going anywhere this year, and they're not going anywhere in the near future. Just let Scoot fucking develop and get rid of Dame while you can still get something for him. There's no point in acting stupid.
Why are you waiting? Because you already know what players are available. It's
yes,
not like in the next 3 months, a new player is going to come out of thin air and be like, oh my God, this is the guy that we've been waiting for this
you
whole
guys
time.
aren't in the fucking... You're not trading with Philly because you're not in the fucking James Harden market. So you have no shot of winning right now. You know Dame wants to go to Miami. You know Miami is serious about putting together an offer. And you know what? You know the Heat are probably going to overpay to get Dame because they're that desperate to win a championship. So with all those things combined, why not just fucking do the deal now?
I agree. And then that way you get to go with...
You are about to give away your franchise player to a when I say desperate, I mean desperate. This Heat team knows they don't have much longer with Jimmy Butler to get a championship. They've come so close.
They have a 2 or 3 win.
They've lost. They have a 2 or 3 season window that they can win a championship with this team. They know that now is their time. They are one of, if not the most desperate team right now in the offseason to do anything to win a championship.
And I agree. And
because they know if not for teams continually like hilariously stumbling over themselves, like they just drove over a fucking banana in Mario Kart, they wouldn't have even made it to the finals last year. But there they were. So they know they need to get better.
Jackson?
Well, I still can't find this supposed trade package. So to me, that's why the trade hasn't happened.
No, search up Shams Charania Miami Heat trade. It's literally been tweeted like multiple times.
But is the trade you're talking? Yeah, pull it up. Is the trade you're talking about just Tyler Hero and 3 firsts? Because I would definitely turn that trade down.
Yeah,
that has nothing to do for me if I'm Portland.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point, just go trade for Siakam. I mean,
right here. As The Athletic reported last week, there's still no traction from the Portland Trailblazers on a Damian Lillard trade. The All-NBA Stars mindset is steadfast toward desiring a trade only to the Miami Heat. Charania wrote, ever since July, sources involved in the discussions who are unauthorized to speak on the matter publicly said that the Miami Heat have been prepared to offer the Trailblazers a package that includes 3 to 4 first-round picks, with Tyler Hero going to a third team, expiring contracts, and a young player such as Nikola Jovic, and potentially second-round picks and draft swaps. That was in an article.
So what I get from that is they have not offered it, but they're prepared to offer it. And the young player involved is probably not Jovic or Jamie. And I think if one of those players was in it, this trade would be done. Jovic does nothing for me. Tyler Hero does nothing for me.
Why do you say they do nothing for you? You're trying to.
What does Tyler Hero do for me if I'm Portland? If I'm Portland, he does literally nothing for me.
You're not getting him. You're not.
So then, what am I getting? 3 first-round draft picks? I have one of the best players in the entire NBA, and I'm trading him for 3 firsts and fucking Nikola Jovic.
I don't know how to sell this for you. I'm giving you 3 to 5.
You're not going to be able to keep him, so you might as well rebuild and get a shit ton of picks.
Why can't I keep him if he's under contract? Didn't he sign? Oh, that's right. He signed his contract himself.
Because he's going to be disgruntled, and it's going to be bad for the locker room, and it's
not. You got to let you got to let your young guys develop, and having a toxic presence in the locker room that doesn't want to fucking be there is going to hurt them.
Players should be allowed to play where they want to play.
They're not winning. They're not winning with or without him, so they should trade him.
But he hasn't. Just on the toxic thing, he hasn't done anything to.
No, but he doesn't want to be there. That leads to a toxic environment. He doesn't.
Yeah, but who's the more of an adult? Who's more of an adult? Who's a better leader,
Jackson,
James Harden or Damian Lillard?
We're not talking about James Harden
Lillard.
Right now.
Damian Lillard.
Well, yeah, Damian Lillard. But I'm comparing him to what a toxic environment would be, like James Harden. Damian Lillard would never pull those shenanigans.
When you're
this is the way it goes.
You remember
he would sit out. Damian would sit out.
Hold on.
He would sit out.
When your star player,
he would sit out.
I'm going with here. I muted Luke because I want to say this. Jackson, you remember Kevin Durant asked out for a trade last offseason. Then he regrouped with the Nets, and he said, I'd give the Nets another chance. And the Nets said, thank you. So 3 months pass. Kyrie asked out for a trade. They said they'll accept the trade request and they'll find him a trade. 12 hours later, Kevin Durant then asks for a trade request, and the Nets publicly said, look, we discussed with Kevin Durant when he originally asked for a trade request back in September. We told him, please give us another shot, and he didn't. Now we're going to respect what we told him, which was, if Kyrie asks for a trade, or if we realize this isn't going to work, we're going to find you a trade, and we're going to trade you where you want to be. Where did he want to go? The Phoenix Suns. Supposedly, the Brooklyn Nets did not talk to a single other team except the Phoenix Suns, and only negotiated with the Phoenix Suns, even though other teams called, because out of respect to Kevin Durant, because he held his word and tried his best to make the best of the situation going into the season. And when everything was falling apart, they respected his trade request because they told him they would do it. Because the Portland Trail Blazers whole offseason said, we're going to try to build a contender around Damian Lillard. They did not. And they said, when Dame if he does ask for a trade request, because we are unable to build a championship contender, we will accommodate that trade. Now they're lying, because the Nets accommodated Kevin Durant's trade within 36 hours. We're almost 8 weeks into.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier before you muted me, when your star player, what I was about to say is, when your star player doesn't want to fucking be there, it doesn't matter who it is, regardless of whether he's professional like Dame or unprofessional like James Harden, or however the fuck you want to say it. If your star player doesn't want to be there, it's a toxic environment. Everybody knows it. Because if you know that the guy who's supposed to lead your team doesn't want to fucking be there, it spreads throughout the rest of the team. They should have traded him a month ago. The closer it gets to the season, the more that they're going to need to fucking trade him, or it's going to be bad for the rest of their core.
All right.
So what's going to happen here is, I'll tell you exactly what will happen. Damian Lillard will probably play the first game for Portland, and then he will be sat down until December 15th, and he will be traded to the Miami Heat, and Orlando Robinson will be headed to Portland.
Yeah, and they'll probably get more, honestly, mid-season, because the Heat are going to be even more desperate than they already are now by December. So
let's talk about James Harden.